how do you, how is memorizing this piece with the way the patterns shift? Like, how did you do
Like my
that?
brain is Teflon. So far, I usually wind up having the music there on an iPad
Okay.
because I I do get turned around. It's not that it wouldn't be that impossible to memorize, except that since having kids, I can't memorize a single thing. And I know I know it'll come back, but there's something that happened to my brain, and it's fine. It's fine because there is written music, so it's fine. Um, but yeah, it's not you just I think to memorize this piece, you just have to stay clear about where you are when you're in it. And not get turned around by
Mhm.
it. So you have to have your own external structure superimposed on it at first until
Yes,
it becomes
makes sense.
innate. And then once it's innate, you don't need that scaffolding anymore and you can just um, move through it. So I feel like at that point, when I get to that point with it, it'll be like, oh, of course, I'll be in your flow state where this is how it is. It couldn't go a different way in this phrase because this is how it is. But because I've gone through the memorization process a lot with a lot of pieces, I know how to access that point without having completely memorized it. And it's cool when it starts to flow and you stop doing the counting and you actually just feel the repetition or the change of pattern or whatever it is, the difference between phrases. Um,
Because even though, I mean, I feel like you must have it. You can't actually be reading the piece when you're
no, I'm not
playing it.
reading it.
It goes way too fast, and the pattern shifts. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, because if you're reading it, you get tangled
Yeah.
because then you're not in the. So, one thing I think shows expertise with the piece, with technique, with the instrument is how much you brace for transitions. If you can play quickly into and through a transition, whether it's a string crossing or a peak note, it's not rushing. I don't mean that, but if you're waiting and prepping and then playing, it's a bit like one of the ice skating routines in the Olympics where you can tell when there's a thing coming up because they stop and they prep. And I think there's a small version of that that happens when you're not completely familiar with something where you know something's coming and you finish something, you brace, and then you do the next. So with this piece, it doesn't work to have that extra step. And
Mhm.
therefore, I can't be reading it per se, but
Yeah.
I'm checking that this phrase is the one that has the extra beat, but compared to the other phrase, or this is the one that has this particular count or this particular direction. And then I play the phrase. So that's what I use the music for. It's a reference. Does it feel like it would be hard to memorize?
I think this piece would be hard to memorize because it's the same but different.
Mhm.
That's what I think would be challenging. Have you